Hello and welcome to Connacht GA TV's coverage of the AIB Connacht Intermediate Club football final. We're at King and Moffat Dr. Hyde Park in Roscommon for the meeting of Mayo champions Crossmolina and Roscommon winners Elphin as they battle it out for the title of Intermediate Provincial Champions 2024. It's a lovely day for a game. Let's take a check on the teams, beginning with Elphin, and their manager Nigel Deneen has made two changes to the side listed in the match programme. It won't come as a major surprise to Elphin supporters to hear that both number 24 Evan Gunn and 17 Gavin Murray start. It's become a tried and tested duo that come into the starting 15 late in the day, with Jerry Craig and John Finnerty dropping to the bench as per usual. Keep an eye out for 11 Shane Killoran and 14 Fenton Craig. They are the men that make this Elphin attack tick. Switching to Crossmolina, and Brian Benson has made just the one change to the side that were too good for St. Michael's of Galway in the semi-final last weekend. Dara Siren, number 8, has recovered from a shoulder injury and slots back in to partner Jordan Flynn, the Mayo squad member, in the middle of the field. The Coggins brothers, Aaron, Diarmuid and Niall, have been in flying form for the Deel Rovers this season, but no doubt who their outstanding performer has been in recent weeks. Number 6, Conor Loftus, a name that will be very familiar to viewers from his exploits with Mayo. He anchors the Crossmolina defence from number 6. So that's the way the teams line out. Thankfully, conditions have improved dramatically here in Roscommon over the last few hours. Skies have brightened overhead. There's a strong breeze, all right, blowing by the looks of things across the field from the corner away to our left. It's a diagonal breeze. We'll update you on that as the game progresses, as our match officials get ready for our own Nevian. It's Christopher Ryan from Galway who's in charge of the game, with Michael McGurl of Leitrim and Ronan Hynes from Sligo on duty as his linesman. Well, Crossmolina are the favourites to win their first ever Connacht Intermediate Club title. Elphin, the outsiders, as we stand for our own Nevian. So the scene set then for the AIB Connacht Intermediate Club football final. Delighted to have Jerry McGowan alongside me again. Jerry, you obviously have got quite a good handle on Roscommon football from your time with the senior team in recent seasons. You've heard all about Crossmolina's exploits as well. What sort of a game are you expecting, and who do you expect to win?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, both teams have had probably different paths to the final. I know Elphin had played the Sligo champions last week and probably had a tight game all the way through. Where on the other hand, Crossmolina have probably came through their semi-final quite easily against the Galway champions. So it's very hard to get a read on, I suppose, where both teams are at. But look, you know, Roscommon football is very competitive. You know, it's at a very good standard. Obviously, Mayo football is of the same. So it'll be an interesting tussle here today.
So Time to find out then if Crossmolina can justify that favourites tag and win a Connacht Club title for what would be the first time since 2002, or can Elphin turn back time and win this competition for a second time 20 years after that breakthrough success. Elphin in the first half, they'll play from right to left down towards the town of Roscommon and into what looks like, Jerry, the teeth of that breeze, which would look to be favouring Crossmolina in the first half, although it's not straightforward.
Not straightforward, and I mean, it never is here in the Hyde. There's a swirling breeze actually that it sometimes can be sort of hard to figure out where it's going. And you know, we've been here on days where the breeze you'd feel would go one way, but once you kind of get possession and you hold it, it's sometimes easier to play against the breeze here for some reason. And you know, when the breeze goes the other end, it's sort of nearly cross field, and it's very hard to judge. It's not nearly straight down the field. It's nearly harder to kick into sometimes. So it'd be interesting how two teams manage the game out from with that perspective.
Well, Elphin have held possession of the ball for the majority of the first minute or so as they played around, get most players a touch, including number 17 Gavin Murray. Starts again today, also started the win here over Eastern Harps last weekend. Here he is on the ball once more as Crossmolina get their defence set. We're watching an Elphin team that put up 9 points here in last weekend's semi-final. That was good enough to beat Eastern Harps. 2-9 was their match-winning tally in the Roscommon County final. So we have a fair idea, Jerry, of the sort of tally they will be aiming for, and obviously at the other end they are quite hard to break down.
Yeah, and look, we can nearly see the setup straight away, Mike, that the teams have sort of gone back inside the half, and this is what I was saying about against that breeze. Like the team that played against that, almost, you know, the tendency is just to hold the ball for as long as possible, and Crossmolina then have to now just sort of sit back and be patient. They're going to probably try and keep the free count low. They won't want to give away sort of simple scores against that breeze, but you can see they're standing off. There's nobody diving in, and I suppose it'll all go down to how this half is managed.
That was Shane Killoran with the shot at the end of that move that took the guts of 2 minutes to construct and to engineer, and Killoran's effort well wide of the target. What a big boost he's been for Elphin this season, back from teaching in Dubai. We're hearing he's been recalled to the Roscommon senior squad in recent weeks. Big boost for Davy Burke, as well as that Crossmolina kick out from JP Mulhern finds its target on the far side, and this allows Crossmolina to get their hands on the ball for the first time in this game. The first meaningful touch for them. Here's Niall Coggins, goal scorer in both the Drawn County final and again against St. Michael's last weekend. His brother Diarmuid now gets a touch, and now Conor Loftus, wearing 6, but has been given a licence to get forward by Brian Benson this season. Dara Siren, the man who missed last weekend's game due to injury, maybe a little ring rusty there, left the solo up quite high. That allowed Elphin in to win it back initially, but that's a rash challenge by John Rattigan. Gives away the free, and quickly taken by Crossmolina now, who like to play the game at pace and are trying to build up a head of steam. This is Packy Leddy, their full forward, who's transferred down from Cavan this year. Jordan Flynn gets a touch. Finan Duffy spots the run of Diarmuid Fox. It's all very neat and tidy. Mahady inside, takes the return. It's Mahady pushed up and over the bar by Aaron Brady. Well, their first attack comes after 4 minutes. Could easily have resulted in a goal. James Mahady with the point, and Crossmolina lead 1 point to no score.
Yeah, and it'd be quite worrying that they got in through the back there, kind of in through that sort of blanket defence that Elphin had sort of put up, and you know, they were nice and patient, moving the ball quite fast through the hands, and then got in and had a shot at goal, and it was a good save by Aaron in the end.
So the Mayo champions hit the front as Elphin deliver the ball long, looking for Damien Craig, one of 3 Craig brothers starting for Elphin today, along with Fenton and Frankie. In fact, Seamus Duke telling me before the game here, at one stage 7 Craig brothers in the Elphin squad. But 3 start with Jerry held in reserve, and right now all of them watching Crossmolina again hold possession. Conor Loftus Takes a touch, looks to flick it back towards Jordan Flynn, who just wasn't quite expecting it. That's a good solid challenge by Luke Malone, and all of a sudden Elphin are back in possession of the ball again. Man on the ball here, Fenton Craig, All-Ireland minor winner in 2006 with the Rossies, still going strong with Elphin. Play is switched to the far side. Charging out from the full back line comes Enda Killoran, brother of Shane. Crossmolina have got their +1 in position. As always, as usual, it's Kevin Mulhern. Plays the role so well, right now sitting just in front of Frankie Craig as Elphin run down a blind alley and they've lost the ball. Good pressure by Crossmolina, who dropped their half forwards back in to help out. And now Matthew Gordetsky, their left corner back, comes driving up the field. Elphin have got plenty of numbers back, so Crossmolina will keep it simple, keep it short, and Diarmuid Fox will use Fionnán Duffy, who arrows this ball in towards Mahady. Really good delivery and a fine take to call the mark.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that Crossmolina would be disappointed with their first two attacks where they got turned over. I know they got a score off the first one, they got it back, but they were probably disappointed with their first two attacks. And you know, with that breeze, I was thinking, you know, they probably should be putting that ball in the inside line a bit more, and then they pop up and they kick a nice one inside and it gets marked and over the bar.
2 points for James Mahady, 2 points for Crossmolina. He shot the lights out in the drawn county final and replay win over Moydavits. Quieter against St. Michael's, very tightly marked, but he has picked up where he left off in the Mayo Championship, and Elphin find themselves 2 points down as Aaron Brady clips the restart short to Enda Killoran. Here's Niall Higgins, Roscommon county defender, outstanding footballer and player of the year in the Roscommon Intermediate Championship 2024. Plays a 1-2 with Shane Byrne. Well, Crossmolina have got their defence set. They've brought 14 men back behind the ball as Elphin go to switch it from right to left and all the way across to Aaron Brady, man who spent some time in the Roscommon senior panel a couple of years ago, allowed to advance. Crossmolina back off. Brady is going to deliver an up and under, an old-fashioned Gary Owen. Fenton Craig is under it, gathered by Frankie Craig, surrounded by defenders. Really good work by Crossmolina and cleared away by Diarmuid Coggins initially. Well, it was an unorthodox delivery, Jerry, to say the least. He had other options, but he went old school.
Yeah, and ambitious. If it was a shot, it looked like a shot. It was an ambitious effort from just inside the 45, and you know, to be fair, Crossmolina dealt with it well. You could see the numbers coming back on that break were very good, and they dealt with the danger well.
Elphin now trying to inject some pace into this move. Initially, at least, the burst was made by Gavin Murray. Shane Killoran now takes over as up comes Martin McCaffrey, the team captain. Flicks it outside to Gavin Murray again. Very short on options though ahead of him. Mulhern is sitting in front of the Elphin full forward line, Jerry, and it's presenting some problems to the Elphin ball carriers.
Yeah, and I suppose that mixed with the breeze, I suppose it makes it hard for them to put that ball into the forward line. And maybe Aaron's, maybe it was a method to his madness, putting the ball in high and over that blanket. And I see Jordan Flynn, is mixing and matching between Conor Loftus on the danger man, Shane Killoran on the other side.
So Elphin need to hold possession again, bide their time and try and pick their way through this very well structured Crossmolina defence. Man on the ball, Niall Higgins again sets up the shooting chance for Fenton Craig, who pulled the trigger from 45 metres, but you can see how strong the breeze is, and it just took the good out of that effort from Craig and dragged it wide.
Yeah, and I think Elphin will want to sort of just maybe be a bit careful about taking those pot shots, especially with that breeze, and it's very blustery. I know it's very hard to judge it, so it's kind of picking up and dropping off, but they'd probably be more in their interest to maybe run the clock down and trying to get themselves into a position at half time to go in maybe and not concede too much in this half if the breeze is a factor.
Crossmolina just taking a few liberties there in defence, but relieved to hear the sound of Christopher Ryan's whistle. Free out, and down the field with this ball goes Niall Coggins. Drills it in low into the corner, but nobody at home over there. Everyone else had emptied out and come across the field, and it's let run harmlessly out over that sideline, and Elphin will restart and reset from in front of their own goal. Aaron Brady to Nesson Lenihan, the big Elphin number 9. It's going to take quite a bit of effort and energy for Elphin to play into this breeze in the first half. We're in the 11th minute. Niall Higgins drops the shoulder and drives past Diarmuid Welch, takes the hit from Jordan Flynn. Here's Higgins again, just too far out from goal to take on a shot. Higgins weighs up his options. Again, he's closed down quickly. Martin McCaffrey kicks to the corner. Well won out in front by Evan Gunn. He did well, Evan Gunn, to win it initially and to draw the foul.
Yeah, and you know, the Elphin structure is really good. They're keeping it really wide. They're keeping their guys out on the sidelines, and you can see down the middle, Niall Higgins is getting an awful lot of ball. He's running through the middle, and you know, Crossmolina are sort of finding it hard to sort of just deal with that space. And in fairness, there the ball came back out, and a great ball into the inside line, and took his man on, and you know, they've a shot at goal here now. It'll be interesting to see where this goes.
So it's Fenton Craig kicking into the wind, which is blowing diagonally right into his face. He's been around the block, Fenton Craig. He's a very experienced free taker, but unable to get to grips with that wind wide on his own side.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that if you look at the flags behind the goal, it's actually coming straight back into his face, dead on, square, and it would be very, you know, it's a good read on us now, for us now to see where the breeze is actually going blowing.
Elphin press high and hard on JP Mulhern. Converted outfielder JP Mulhern went back into goal about 3 years ago and has never looked back. Another good short kick out from him to give Crossmolina primary possession. And now Jordan Flynn, All-Star nominee last year, comes up the field, but he's coughed up possession. Then just as quickly John Rattigan has done the same. A cheap giveaway by Elphin. They'd done the hard part. They'd won the ball back, and then they just handed back to Crossmolina once more.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of that already today, though. That centre sort of, if you draw a big, circle around the middle, there's been a lot of turnovers there. Teams are sort of, that's a compact area, and teams are turning. You know, Crossmolina have turned a lot of ball over there, and likewise Elphin.
Jordan Flynn and Luke Mollahan getting to know one another off the ball there. We'll keep an eye on that because they're two big men. Mollahan looks to be taking his man-marking duties very seriously, Jerry, by the looks of it. As on the ball, Diarmuid Coggins cuts in. Leddy looking for Mahady in over the top. The angle's tight, but James Mahady is in the form of his life. 3 points for the Crossmolina number 11, and that was the pick of the bunch.
And you know, I was just about to say, Mike, that you know, Niall Higgins is dropping back and picking up James Mahady, and he'd gone sort of on him 1-to-1 there, done a really good sort of tigerish job, and Mahady just found a half a yard, you know, spun off Niall Higgins and got in. It was a brilliant score on his wrong side, coming in from that side.
Well, that score from James Mahady, the cue for some Crossmolina supporters to release a flare at the back of the goal. A bit early in the day for setting flares off, but we are 14 minutes in, and the Mayo champions have gone 3 in front. Elphin having so much possession, quite a bit of territory, but still waiting to put their first score on the board. But that battle, that midfield battle between Mollahan and Flynn, Jerry, that one is simmering away nicely.
Yeah, nicely there, and you know, there's a lot of stuff off the ball, you know, with them as well. They're kind of matching each other and marking each other, and I can see Jordan Flynn there dropping back, trying to pick up a couple of the Elphin danger men. It's working quite well actually so far.
Flynn right on cue, read that break well. Had a slow start by his own admission to the championship, Jordan Flynn, but right through the knockout stages went from strength to strength. as Packy Leddy gives it to Dara Siren, looks up, just one man to aim at. That's Finan Duffy, who's made his break in behind Niall Higgins. Trailing after him is Alex Gleeson. Duffy's shot half blocked down by Higgins, who did really well to make up the ground and then get the block in and show just why he was picked as the best intermediate footballer in Roscommon this year.
Yeah, and Crossmolina, to be fair, are bringing that ball out sort of the centre line, and they're playing with their heads up, looking for that kick pass on, and there's quite a bit of space inside actually, and Elphin would probably want to put that little bit of pressure on higher up to stop that kick in, because it looks like Crossmolina are going to get some joy off that today.
Gavin Murray flicks it across to Nesson Lenahan. Elphin looking to move Crossmolina around, looking to open up some gaps that have been slow to appear so far, as Enda Killoran decides to drive forward, break the line, goes past Dara Siren. This would be some score on the run, just wide from the boot of the Elphin fullback. Well, he took it on, he showed the leadership, just couldn't find the score.
Yeah, and from a coaching perspective, Elphin, like I said earlier, are sort of keeping it really nice and wide, and that centre is actually really opening up, and the fullback coming through at pace there. But I suppose you just want your quality guys, your shooters, maybe to be on the end of them, especially against that breeze in the first half. JP
Mulhern is looking for a Siren, found him too, nicely knocked down by the Crossmolina midfielder, and away they go. This is Kevin Mulhern, looks up, spots Packy Leddy on the move, and the Cavan man works it out to Diarmuid Welch. Mahdi has got his hand in the air inside, he wants it. Instead they're going to play it to Gordetsky, who's come up from defence. Jordan Flynn looking to sneak in around the back. Mahdi to Finan Duffy, lovely feet from Duffy, and there's his first score. Well, lovely movement by the Crossmolina forward line, mixing the short and long game nicely, and after 17 minutes they lead by 4 points to no score.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed with Crossmolina. They're throwing the ball around with the foot really well, and finding a lot of space at the back, in the inside line there. And look, that was a really well worked score and a really good finish in the end. But kind of worrying for Elphin though, like 4-0 now after 17, and getting a lot of gaps appearing at the back there. To be kind of, I suppose, Nigel Deneen and Cole will be a little bit worried about that maybe at this stage.
Well, to the untrained eye, it looks like they've got a turf fire going at the back of the Elphin goal there. The Crossmolina supporters, another flare has been unleashed. I think, Jerry, if they intend to release a flare after every score, they could be out of flares fairly soon.
Well, it's happened since before the game, so they must have plenty in reserve. So.
The Crossmolina supporters on tour down there behind Aaron Brady's goal. The Elphin supporters, the bulk of them in the stand right in front of us, as Niall Higgins again is that link between defence and attack across towards Gavin Murray. He's looking up, but all he can see in front of him right now is the figure of Kevin Mulhern, the Crossmolina sweeper, who is cutting out that delivery to Evan Gunn, as Elphin go looking for Gunn over on that far side. Gets there in front of Gordetsky, recycles it to Alex Gleeson, and back inside to Niall Higgins again. Higgins shut down by Finan Duffy. Crossmolina keeping the energy high as Elphin come across to the left wing. Shane Byrne. Lenahan goes down under the challenge of Jordan Flynn. No free. Ball pops up, but that's because there was a trip on Diarmuid Coggins. Free to Crossmolina. The Elphin crowd not happy.
No, and it looked like the Elphin guy was playing for the, I'm not sure who it was, but looked like they were playing for the free, and the referee wasn't buying it, and Crossmolina stuck to their tackling in numbers there and turned it over, and probably the right call from the ref, to be fair.
Matthew Gordetsky forward to Dara Siren. His first instinct is usually to kick long, and it's the same again. It's Mahdi who's after it. Niall Higgins once more. He has put in some shift in the first 20 minutes or so, Jerry. I mean, 1 minute he's back in the full back line making blocks, the next he's up at the other end breaking the line. but there's only so much one man can do.
Yeah, he's covering a huge amount of ground, and like I was saying, he's probably you know, when they don't have the ball, he's probably racing back and picking up you know, James Melody, you know, as a double up, and I think he's probably been renowned from that through the club championship as being the tagger or the go-to guy to sort of take out the opposition's good guys, and looks like he's playing that role again today.
Bit of a tangle over on the far side in the corner. Christopher Ryan gives the benefit of the doubt to Crossmolina. Well, so far so good for Brian Benson, the Crossmolina manager. Won a couple of senior championship medals with the club back in the mid-noughties. Now manager of their intermediate team, assisted by one John Maughan, the former Mayo and Roscommon manager. He's a coach selector along with Thomas McNulty and John O'Malley in the Crossmolina backroom team. We're in the 21st minute. Elphin still looking for their first score. And Jerry, if you're Nigel Deneen right now in the Elphin dugout, how are you feeling?
Probably slightly disappointed that they're 4 down. They've had a lot of ball. They're probably carrying it to the far 45, and they're probably just not being patient enough with it. I would have said that, you know, if they held on to it a little bit longer rather than bringing it into the tackle, that they probably could have picked and choose maybe some more better shots. But look, at 4 down, you know, if they can sort of keep the damage down with that breeze, you know, they've a lot of work to do in the second half. So they need to get something now, you know, on the scoreboard pretty quick, you know, because it's still 4 points is nothing. A goal, it's sort of bring it right back, and you know, a couple of frees, it's sort of even bring it back to 2 points or that. So still need to get a couple of scores on the board, I'd say, before half time. So and not leave that gap or leave themselves too much work to do in the second half.
They were playing senior football last year, Elphin. They've bounced straight back up again by virtue of the victory over Strokestown in the county final. But right now they've spoken out a turn, and Christopher Ryan has brought the ball forward 13 metres at least there for descent, and this gives Fionnán Duffy a really good chance to extend the Crossmolina lead. Quite a bit of pressure on the Elphin defence in this first half, and for once their discipline cracked, and Fionnán Duffy steers over what is his second point. First score from a free from Crossmolina, and Elphin, that hill they have to climb has just got a little bit steeper. It is worth bearing in mind, as Jerry said, there's a very strong wind blowing diagonally against Elphin in this first half, but discipline will be paramount, Jerry, from here to half time.
Yeah, and that one was sort of gone. You know, the foul happened there on the 45, which was a tough kick, and you know, but even discipline there brought the ball forward, which was a tap over in the end. And you know, at 5-0 now, you know, the gap is widening, and still like to see Elphin get up the field, maybe hold that ball and try and win some form of a free or something, get themselves off the mark.
Great catch by Jordan Flynn in the centre of the field for Crossmolina. They're on the move. There's a man inside, Mahady, all alone if Fionnán Duffy can find him, but it's Niall Higgins, who else, that's making life difficult for the ball carrier. As across comes Luke Monaghan, and he's caught Mahady. Well, he does play the game on the edge, the Elphin number 12, and he has just crossed the line there, in the opinion of Christopher Ryan, who wants a word.
This will be an interesting call from the ref here. That was borderline.
Well, James Mahady is down, and that's a yellow for Monaghan, and I'd say, reading between the lines, Jerry, you feel he's lucky enough.
Well, he kind of rushed in, and you know, James Melody turned back into him, I suppose, and you know, he caught him fairly high pace there, and I suppose another ref might have looked at that in a different way, but he's lucky to get a yellow, I think.
So James Mahady back to his feet, Dr. Declan Clinton in attending to him, and the end result of all of that is a hot ball, I think, or perhaps possession to Crossmolina. Christopher Ryan there would have stopped the game due to the hit on Mahady, and yes, he has given free to Crossmolina. Mahady looking to take it, can kick comfortably off either foot, and that one just pushed beyond the far post and out to the left and wide. So Elphin get off the hook, as it were. Now there's a Elphin man down though on the flat of his back. It's Nesson Lenehan who's gone down just on the edge of the D. Not quite sure if it's a muscle injury or how he ended up exactly on the floor. But after 25 minutes, in case you've just joined us, the AIB Connacht Intermediate Club football final is going the way of Crossmolina right now. They lead by 5 points to no score. Elphin, despite their best efforts, unable to raise a flag. And when you consider, Jerry, they only conceded 7 points here against Eastern Harps last weekend in the entire game, and won 7 in the county final against Strokestown. It's a rare occasion when they've shipped 5 points in 25 minutes.
Yeah, and like I think the Crossmolina, playing that long kick inside is Elphin are struggling with, because they're trying. I think they play that sort of defensive game normally, and they like to get time to get fellas back. And with Crossmolina are sort of kicking that longer ball in the inside line, and Elphin are just not getting that time, and they're sort of picking off the handy scores inside. And again, right back to the first minute when they got in, they could have had a goal, so they're probably lucky that it's just 5 really from that first attack.
Looks like Elphin may be making a change, or perhaps have just made one. Just keep an eye on that for a minute. There's certainly activity on the far sideline as Fintan Craig goes back to win possession to try and kickstart an Elphin attack. Shane Killoran, Gavin Murray.
Substituting the Elphin team, number 13, John Finnerty, replaced number 15, Frank Craig.
So there is confirmation of that change. John Finnerty in, Frankie Craig taken out. Didn't look too happy, Frankie Craig, as he made his way along the sideline. It's been a frustrating first half for the Elphin forward line, but they've just won a free now. That's better from them. Held possession patiently, made some headway, and now get a shot at goal. But the hard part now starts, Jerry, to kick it over from that angle into the teeth of the wind.
Yeah, and this is almost a carbon copy of the free he had there earlier from almost the exact same position. And like, if you look at the flags, it's just literally square in his face, and maybe he'll have learned a bit from that previous kick. And but again, it'll be a good indication of how strong the wind is.
So Fenton Craig, normally this angle would be right up his street, but he has that gale force wind blowing into his face, and this time hits it on the sweet spot. It's taken them 27 minutes, but Elphin have opened their account, and no surprise that it came from the boot eventually of Fenton Craig.
Yeah, and a timely score too, like just before half time to bring it back to 4. And if they could tag on 1 or 2 more now before half time, the momentum might just shift in their favour.
Kick out from JP Mulhern, down on top of Siren again. He's the go-to man. He and Jordan Flynn give JP Mulhern 2 really good options on kickouts, but that time Elphin got in around Siren, in around Flynn, and they've won the free, which Aaron Brady is preparing to strike. Well, their confidence now has been boosted by that score from Craig, and they look to push on now coming into half time. Is this inside or outside his range, do you think?
Look, Aaron's a very good striker of the ball. I mean, I'd say he fancies it, but I'd be sort of keeping possession.
Here he comes, Aaron Brady. Breeze or no breeze, he's gone for it. It's going to go close, but just the wrong side of the post again, away to the right. And despite the best efforts of a teammate in there, couldn't keep it in play. That will go down as another wide. But that's interesting, Jerry. You would have felt as a coach, go short, hold possession, continue to build.
Well, just try and get that sort of high percentage shot off. I mean, that was a long way out, and Aaron he has a great boot on him and does have that probably shot in his locker. But just that breeze today, if there was a bit of movement inside, maybe catch them with a short one and go again. Even nobody marking the keeper, he could have taken that return and maybe had a better shot off closer to the goal. And just to get that 5-2, just before half time, I'd be sort of looking for those higher percentage shots than maybe those long distance ones at this stage anyway.
Crossmolina again get the platform from midfield with that catch by Dara Siren. That allows them to hold possession and gets Jordan Flynn on the ball once more, across to Matthew Gordetsky, the left corner back. Loves to get forward, as does this man, Diarmuid Fox. Has come into the team in the last couple of rounds in place of Fergal Duffy, who's dropped to the bench. As Crossmolina go from right to left and all the way across to Dara Siren on the far side. Elphin, each of their defenders has picked a man. They go man to man as Crossmolina try to make headway down along that left wing through Niall Coggins, wrapped up by two defenders. In comes a third, free out for overcarrying, and that was textbook from Elphin. They just swallowed up the ball carrier and win the free.
I think that's the kind of football that suits Elphin, is that when they get time to drop everyone back, they can be very hard to break down, and I think that's worked well for them in the championship so far to date. And I think where they're struggling is that when Crossmolina get that quick ball, like I was saying earlier, inside the line before they get back and set, that they're struggling in that regard. So they could benefit from slowing the ball down higher up the field and giving themselves time to set up at the back.
So we're going to have at least 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here at King and Moffat Dr. Hyde Park, as Elphin try to chase down this 4-point deficit. Alex Gleeson being pursued by Jordan Flynn, decides to use Aaron Brady. Elphin have left one man back, as down the field at pace goes Evan Gunn. Coughs up the ball in the tackle though, and there may be a fast break on here for Crossmolina with Aaron Brady out of his goal, but they've decided to go backwards to come forwards, and that allows the Elphin goalkeeper get back between the sticks with plenty of time to spare. Niall Coggins gives it off to Conor Loftus. Crossmolina normally so slick coming out of defence. Loftus here has felt a shoulder, and again they wrapped him up, and Elphin's defence now really beginning to grow into this game. But just as I said, they've given the ball away cheaply, kicked directly to Niall Coggins, and that must be so frustrating for Nigel Dineen and his selectors.
Yeah, and we've seen that quite a bit today actually. Crossmolina will turn the ball over, Elphin will win it back and then almost give it back in the same play, and then go down and nearly take a score at the other end. And I can only imagine it's probably frustrating.
We're into the second minute of added time. Crossmolina's turn now to get on the ball and hold it. They've scored twice in the last 15 minutes. In fact, once in the last 15 minutes. Crossmolina, a point apiece in the last 15. But they did most of the scoring damage in the first quarter, and now they've got another chance to top up their advantage. But certainly after that initial burst, that first 15 minutes where they really dominated, Jerry, it's become much more even Steven in the second quarter.
It has, yeah. I think that the teams have evened up all right and got a handle on each other, but still, the scoreboard doesn't lie, and this is another big free now for Crossmolina. This probably could be the last play of the half, and it'll give them a good advantage.
So it's Fionnán Duffy eyeing up the target, normally accurate from that sort of range, and he is again today. Well, for the best part of the last 10 years now, Fionnán Duffy has been doing that for Crossmolina. An outstanding underage footballer with Mayo, and very much the go-to man for this Crossmolina forward line when things get tough and tight. And they lead 6-1 as we begin the fourth minute of added time, and Christopher Ryan allows Elphin to come down along this left-hand side. Still no sound of the half-time whistle. Nice spin and turn by Evan Gunn. Shovels it inside to Gavin Murray. Here's Luke Monaghan, encouraged to shoot, but easier said than done with 2, 3, 4 Crossmolina defenders around him. That was really good work by Crossmolina, and it is a very positive note for them on which to end this first half. Christopher Ryan blows the half-time whistle. The Mayo champions will bring a 5-point lead with them into the dressing room, and that little psychological win on the half-time whistle, Jerry, that will do them no harm either.
No, it won't. And look, credit to the Crossmolina team. Their defence has been pretty solid there all day long. Conditions allowed, but they've just been very solid. Elphin have sort of tried to keep that width and try to penetrate down the middle, and they're sort of hitting the wall there. That +1 at the back there is Kevin Mulhern. He's doing a really good job there, and they're bringing them into the tackle and turning them over, and as a result they're struggling to kick scores. But on the flip side now, Elphin have a bit of thinking to do, and we all know the conditions don't win the game for you, and they've got to play good football in the second half and do a lot of the simple things right, and just keep tipping over those simple points and hope that there's no concession the other side.
What's your gut feeling? Is 5 points enough of a lead with that wind, or is there a window of opportunity there for Elphin?
Look, it's 30-minute half. They've got to keep chipping away. I suppose it depends how Crossmolina come out. Will they set up defensively, and they've done really well on that today, or will they sort of go at it now, press up the field and sort of go for the juggler here? And look, a goal will bring it sort of straight back again either side, and I suppose it all depends on how they approach it.
So there you've heard the thoughts of Jerry McGowan. It's half time here at King and Moffat Dr. Hyde Park in the AIB Connacht Intermediate Club football final. Crossmolina lead Elphin by 6 points to 1. We're back shortly with second half commentary.
Open the Japanese restaurant, it was my dream. Using the seaweed, we can make so many different elements and ingredients. We go foraging and I bring my chefs. The tide always has to be very low.
We develop and produce beauty products.
We hand harvest seaweed off the west coast of Ireland here in Sligo. It's completely renewable, but it's also extremely dense in nutrients, and so it makes it a wonderful ingredient for working with cosmetics.
Bunaíoch an ollscoil breis céad seachtú cúig bliana chun. Our journey has seen us inspire world-class engineers, drive passion for the arts, pioneer breakthroughs in medicine, and set the agenda for human rights. We have guided leaders and honoured revolutionaries. We have evolved to be in the top 2% of universities worldwide. Ireland's #1 for sustainable development, making a difference through our partnerships with over 3,000 institutions across 114 countries. Cuiremuid fáilte inis rih an toghchan, agus rih aon lucht nua, trí na léireofair bhfuil baint amach hain, is muide, ollscoil na Gaillimhe. This is the place to push boundaries, to drive cutting-edge research and respond to global challenges. This is our space to stand strong because our ambitions are high, our steps are bold, and our proud Irish spirit is unrelenting. An údar sin, tá áit an seo lute, áit féidir leat aibriú le pobl a bhfuil bun luachan na tíbhíorte, meas, bar fáis, inmhúnathach agus oscailteacht. This is the place to learn and the space to grow and discover new possibilities every step of the way. That ethos is the essence of who we are, and it will keep us thriving as we rethink the future together, because we are Ollscoil na Gaillimhe, University of Galway. An áit a Manitou bar de Wahasa amach, your space and place to thrive.
When you watch illegal streams, you risk letting criminals in. If they hack your device, they can steal your personal data, your money, and your identity. Illegal streams let criminals in. At AIB, we can help you keep doing what matters to you. Book a chat with an AIB advisor to get real guidance on how to build your financial future. AIB, for the life you're after.
We all need somewhere. We who live for the day that might never come.
Are you excited?
We who go back again and again to where we come from.
Well, lads, what's the crack?
We who won't stop until we're unstoppable.
Very nice. Cheers tonight.
We who will never say no to getting stuck in.
Have you got it all free?
We who pass on every tradition and skill that was passed on to us. We who love the days that come forever. Him, her, them, us. We all need somewhere that belongs to us all. GAA, where we all belong.
When you watch illegal streams, you risk letting criminals in. If they hack your device, they can steal your personal data, your money, and your identity. Illegal streams let criminals in.
We always had an intention to build some kind of an indoor facility here. We got funding from the Department for Rural and Community Affairs of 2.1 million, and we put a plan together to build this place. So here we have a huge air dome of 150 metres long by 100 metres wide and 26 metres high. Playing surface of the pitch itself is as big as McHale Park in Castlebar. We have 600 seats along the side there. We have a gym down at the far end, good enough to accommodate 40, say, inter-county players at a time. Then on the blue areas down the back we have the fitness area, and on the side behind me here we have a running track of 130 metres marked out as 5 lanes.
At AIB we focus on giving you our lowest rates for energy efficient homes, so you can focus on the questions you really care about.
What did you think?
Apply now for an AIB Green Mortgage.
When you watch illegal streams, you risk letting criminals in. If they hack your device, they can steal your personal data, your money, and your identity. Illegal streams let criminals in.
The corner forward gathers it on the 21, but it's stolen by the cornerback. He's picked his pocket there.
It's dropping from the skies. The big man has it again. Oh, he's lording it today.
He's backing himself. He has the distance, but has he the accuracy? It's over the bar. Toshi there to throw. Toshi's having Trasta. You've done it. Nobody here will ever forget today.
We're specialising in long-aged and matured beers, and we're using what's on our doorstep. We've got fantastic farmers here. We've got fantastic growing conditions. The grain, when we're finished with it, still holds a lot of value.
We take the spent grain from brewing and turn it into functional ingredients that help with flavour, fibre, different colours, and turn this into nutritionally dense foods.
We are the pioneers in Ireland of upcycling food.
Open the Japanese restaurant, it was my dream. Using the seaweed, we can make so many different elements and ingredients. We go foraging and I bring my chefs. The tide always has to be very low.
We develop and produce beauty products.
We hand harvest seaweed off the west coast of Ireland here in Sligo. It's completely renewable, but it's also extremely dense in nutrients, and so it makes it a wonderful ingredient for working with cosmetics.
Bunaíoch an ollscoil breis céad seachtú cúig bliana chuin. Our journey has seen us inspire world-class engineers, drive passion for the arts, pioneer breakthroughs in medicine, and set the agenda for human rights. We have guided leaders and honoured revolutionaries. We have evolved to be in the top 2% of universities worldwide. Ireland's #1 for sustainable development, making a difference through our partnerships with over 3,000 institutions across 114 countries. Cuiremuid fáilte inis rih an togha, agus rih éon lucht nua, trí na lérófar bhfuil baint amach hain, is muide, ollscoil na Gaillimhe. This is the place to push boundaries, to drive cutting-edge research and respond to global challenges. This is our space to stand strong because our ambitions are high, our steps are bold, and our proud Irish spirit is unrelenting. An údar sin, tá áit an seo dúitse, áit féidir leat oibriú le pobl a bhfuil bun luachan na tíomhthíorte, meas, bar fáis, inmhúnathach agus oscailteacht. This is the place to learn and the space to grow and discover new possibilities every step of the way. That ethos is the essence of who we are, and it will keep us thriving as we rethink the future together, because we are Ollscoil na Gaillimhe, University of Galway. An áit a manitú bar do wahasa amach, your space and place to thrive.
When you watch illegal streams, you risk letting criminals in. If they hack your device, they can steal your personal data, your money, and your identity. Illegal streams let criminals in.
AIB, we can help you keep doing what matters to you. Book a chat with an AIB advisor to get real guidance on how to build your financial future. AIB, for the life you're after.
And you're very welcome back to King and Moffat, Dr. Hyde Park. Second half about to get underway. Doesn't look like there have been any changes, but we'll just double check on that for you. But all set then for the second half of the AIB Connacht Intermediate Club Football Final. Crossmolina bidding to become the first Mayo winners since Westport back in 2016. While from an Elphin point of view, they are looking to come from behind here and replicate their breakthrough win back in 2004 and be crowned Connacht Intermediate Club champions for the second time. But they're facing an uphill battle. They will have the breeze behind them as Christopher Ryan throws the ball in and gets the second half underway. Possession for Shane Killoran, who feeds it through to John Finnerty, looking to make an impact off the bench. Breeze has caught that delivery though, and that has spoiled their best laid plans, and Crossmolina managed to deal with the first attack of this second half. Loose ball on the floor for Shane Killoran to get under control. Shane Byrne, and here's Niall Higgins. Got through some amount of work in the first half, the Roscommon County defender, as Elphin try to settle into their rhythm, into their pattern of play, and Crossmolina get their defence into position. It is a defence that by and large has been very hard to breach this season. Coughed up 5 goals at one stage in the Mayo Championship against Moy Davits, but really since then they have re-engineered things, as Elphin win a free after some 70 seconds of the second half, and they've gone looking for Aaron Brady again, Jerry, and this one you'd imagine should be inside his range.
Yeah, and Aaron struck the one maybe 60 metres out very well in the first half, and it just sort of fell, maybe to the left a little bit. This will be an interesting one now with the conditions where they are, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get a good strike on this and get a good start to the second half for Elphin.
Well, it's right in front of the Crossmolina goal, about 47 metres, and he strokes it high and over the bar. Terrific kick. Casual as you like from Aaron Brady. It's just Elphin's second point of the game. They haven't scored from play yet, but they're back to within 4 of Crossmolina with still a long way to go.
Yeah, kind of deja vu because Crossmolina started the game sort of the same way, kicking the ball into the inside line, and I think they got a free, so it's a good start for Elphin.
Ball in the hands of a Crossmolina man. In fact, Crossmolina have made a change all right. I see number 28, Liam Connor, is on for this second half. So Brian Benson has made a change. I can only assume it's injury related. Nobody seemed to be struggling from a performance point of view, but Liam Connor is certainly on the field as Conor Loftus gives him the ball and allows him to make some headway. Jordan Flynn lays it off out to the far side to the wing back Aaron Coggins, leaving cert student, brother of Diarmuid and Niall, as Conor Loftus pops up on this left wing. All-Ireland minor winner 11 years ago. So now it's Crossmolina's turn to hold possession, and from a tactical point of view, Jerry, it will be interesting to see how they play into this breeze.
It will, and more interestingly, I suppose, is the Elphin are sitting off, 4 points down with the breeze. They're still sitting off. I suppose it'll be more interesting to see what they do and whether they'll push out, because I mean, if Crossmolina get to hold the ball freely and over and back, is exactly what just happened. They're going to get frees, and and I suppose it is going to be harder to shoot into these goals, but at the same time, Elphin are chasing the game.
So still Crossmolina holding possession. Aaron Coggins comes forward. Kevin Mulhern up to join the attack, looking for Packy Leddy. Such a good man to lead that forward line. Nice layoff from Mahady. Kevin Mulhern trying to crash his way through a wall of Elphin defenders, and again the Roscommon lads have lost it on the way out. There's a goal chance, buried by Liam Connor. Terrific finish, gave Aaron Brady absolutely no chance, and again Elphin are punished for a cheap turnover. They gifted possession back to Crossmolina, and the Mayo champions strike for the first goal 5 minutes into the second half.
Oh, look, what a time to get your first goal, and again, you're saying it, Mike, there, a cheap turnover, and they found himself inside and took his goal. Absolutely brilliant. Put it into the side net and past Aaron Brady. What a finish.
Oh, it's a real hammer blow for Elphin, but Crossmolina have been doing that for the last few months in the championship. When they get a goal chance, more often than not they take it. They have some really good finishers, and that time it was Liam Connor in at half time who buried it, and all of a sudden Elphin have fallen 6 points behind.
And Elphin had all the hard work done by sort of getting the bodies back and getting the numbers around them, and they had done really well not to give away a free, and they turned the ball over, and then to give away that sort of bad turnover and to concede a goal there. Now it's sort of taking the wind out of our sails, and like we were just talking about the tactics, now Elphin really have a decision to make whether to push up and come after this game.
I think we may have to correct the record as well, because it seems as though it's Niall Coggins who's come back on for the second half wearing 28. For some reason he's changed his jersey at half time. We've just got that message in the last matter of moments. So that means that Niall Coggins has now struck his third goal in his last 4 games for Crossmolina. Gold in the county intermediate final drawn game, gold again against St. Michael's last weekend, and he has just struck brilliantly here 5 minutes into the second half. So Niall Coggins will go down as the Crossmolina goal scorer. They're now 7 up as down the field comes Shane Killoran. Man ahead of him, roaring for it is John Finnerty. Cuts in, lovely dummy, and he's won his free. Well, that was lovely footwork by the Elphin corner forward, and they need something like that now just to spark a comeback.
Yeah, that was a really impressive transition there for Elphin, and probably the first time we've seen that speed injected into their play, and they got up the field really well, and a nice dink ball inside, and it looked like they had sort of broken that cover of the Crossmolina, and felt it was sort of a harsh free. They'd kind of cut inside, and referee had sort of seen something there, and this is probably a handy tap over now for Fintan Craig.
So Fintan Craig with a chance to get a score that Elphin so badly need. It's just their third white flag. All have come from frees, but it just gives them something to hang on to, something to try and build on. But it also gives us a chance for a moment, Jerry, just to go back and talk about that mistake by Elphin again. And it has been something you've picked up on a few times throughout the first half as well. Is it a concentration thing? Is it a skills thing? They just seem to have been given the ball away so often and so cheaply when they've put themselves in good positions.
Look, I've been really impressed with the Crossmolina tackling, and maybe it's a pressure thing from Crossmolina that they're not giving up on any particular ball, and certainly when they turn over the ball they look like they're sort of kicking up with a gear and going after it, sort of winning it back. And in fairness to them, every time they've lost it they haven't rested, and they've tried to sort of up the ante, win it back, and they've probably done it more times than not in this game anyway.
Well, really now there is no more margin for error from an Elphin perspective. They simply have to get a comeback going, and quickly. Their supporters in front of us encouraging Martin McCaffrey and company to take the game to Crossmolina. They really at this stage now have very little to lose. Shane Killoran sucks in a few defenders, uses Nesson Lenehan. Here's Fintan Craig coming on the loop, just where Elphin want him. Dangerous ball, watched all the way by JP Mulhern. Well, he's given away the free. Credit where it's due there to Evan Gunn and John Finnerty, who doubled up on the Crossmolina goalkeeper, who I think was expecting to hear the sound of the referee's whistle, Jerry, just not the signal that followed.
Yeah, no, in fairness, but if you take that play right back, Mike, right up until to this, the Crossmolina forwards hunting in packs in the 6th and 7th there, like Niall Higgins came running out there. He was met with a huge shoulder from Jordan Flynn, and then the Crossmolina rest of the players came in hunting in packs, and Elphin did really well to get that play up the field under huge pressure and then win a free there, and I think they've tapped it over the bar there for another fourth.
Yeah, that's 3 points from frees for Fintan Craig, 4 in total for Elphin. They're still 5 down, but they're large group of supporters in front of us now trying to make themselves heard. It's 20 years since they were Connacht Intermediate Club champions, Elphin. They're looking to reel in the years again here, but that goal from Niall Coggins has really left them with a mountain to climb, and now there's a foul on Jeremy Coggins, and Christopher Ryan wants a word. This player he's spoken to there is 21, Conor Lenehan, Elphin substitute, and it is, or will be, a yellow card for Conor Lenehan for that challenge. And that's, I suppose, the tightrope that Elphin have to walk now for the next 20 minutes or so, Jerry, isn't it? They have to up the intensity and up the energy to get back into it, but that brings the risk of cards and frees.
Yeah, and they've got to just play on that line a little bit, and they've got to sort of now take the risk of leaving themselves a little bit open at the back by sort of coming out and playing. And again, look, they're playing with the elements, and I suppose that's probably the advantage they have here. And like at 1-6-4, it's still within grasp, even though Crossmolina have had the perfect start to the second half. It's still there to go after. Like, it's not out of sight just yet.
I must say as well, Jerry, and you've picked up on it a few times, when Elphin are trying to come out with the ball, they are being met by one after another of Crossmolina forwards who are getting in their faces, who are really putting the pressure on, and they're finding it very difficult to build up any sort of a head of steam when they come out of defence.
Yeah, no, I've been really impressed with it today. Like the Crossmolina forwards are working like really, really hard, and working in packs. They all seem to be tuned into the same thing, and as soon as that turnover happens, they're all on it like straight away.
Monaghan to the back post, gathered by JP Mulhern. Heavy collision on the way out there. A Crossmolina defender has been caught by John Finnerty, in fact it's one of the other Elphin forwards, and Christopher Ryan did not like the manner of that challenge. You can tell by the body language. Crossmolina man is going to need attention. It was actually Gavin Murray that caught him, and now Christopher Ryan has gone back, having checked on the Crossmolina man, and it's a black card for Gavin Murray. So Elphin down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes, and this is the last thing they needed. And it goes back to that point we were making a few minutes ago about the discipline.
Yeah, no, discipline's key. But look, again, I suppose, if Crossmolina have this scenario planned for in training, they'll know what to do, right? If they don't, how many games have you seen where the momentum is shifted to the teams that go down to 14? So, there has to be a plan that kicks in here now for Crossmolina. They have to know who the free man is, and Elphin now are going to probably have to drop everybody back, which they probably didn't want to do, and sort of use that sort of full team element to sort of protect themselves on the counter. But how often have we seen the momentum shift to the team that's gone down to 14?
Well, the next 10 minutes will make or break Elphin's season, surely. Down to 14 men, 5 points behind. Can they find a way back in this AIB Connacht Intermediate Club Football Final? They hit the last 1-5 of the county final to beat Strokestown. They're going to need something similar here as John Finnerty takes on all comers. Well, that was inspirational stuff from Finnerty, who's won the free. Inside to Luke Monaghan, who has had his pocket picked beautifully by, I think it was Niall Coggins. And here he is again on the ball to his brother Aaron. Up the line to James Mahady. Inside the 45, calls the mark, and that just allows Crossmolina a chance to reset, to have a think. They have an extra man. I'm assuming they will try and free up Conor Loftus as much as possible now, as Dara Siren runs straight into the Elphin man, bounces off him. Leddy to Mahady, arriving at pace, looking to find the finish, just wide off the boot of James Mahady.
Number 20, Carolyn, replaced number 8, Dara Siren.
So Brian Benson is sending in Carl Carolyn, their experienced utility man. Dara Siren is the player who's gone off, and by the looks of things, Carolyn has gone straight in to the centre of the field. Man who played with Mayo in 2012 and 2013 when they went to All-Ireland finals against Donegal and Dublin. Nice tidy kick out by Aaron Brady to find Niall Higgins. Now it's Nesson Lenihan. Elphin trying to take the shortest route possible to goal here. Evan Gunn on the ball, looking to lose Jordan Flynn, but that's easier said than done, as Flynn just stands him up free against the Crossmolina midfielder, who doesn't agree. Harsh?
Look, he's working his socks off there. He's worked his socks off all day, and he's back tackling and that. And I suppose he's a good tackler on the ball, and he probably tackles on the edge a little bit. But it was probably a 50-50 call from the ref.
Fintan Craig to Monaghan. Elphin haven't scored from play yet. 45 minutes in. How they could do now with a goal, just to really ignite this revival they're trying to get going. Sitting in the sin bin, waiting impatiently to get back on, is Gavin Murray, remember. But despite playing with the breeze in this second half, they really haven't been able to make any inroads. Elphin, they were 5 down at the break, and they're 5 down with 14 to go. Niall Higgins, lovely ball, Gunn off to Alex Gleeson. Tried to come in along the end line, but nothing doing. Jordan Flynn was Standing sentry there. Here's Higgins. Gets right underneath it as Elphin just go route one. Knocked away by Niall Coggins, the goal scorer. Line ball to Elphin.
And you know, when Crossmolina are back and set, there's probably not many options for Elphin other than going route one into and on top of the square.
Shane Byrne is going to do just that now as well, or try to, but never got a hold of the delivery, and the breeze then didn't help either. And that is a very disappointing end to that Elphin attack. And you just get the sense, Jerry, right now they've run out of ideas.
Yeah, look at that Crossmolina defence. It's just so well drilled. I think they're not going to give away anything likely. And as you said, Mike, there's, the 4 scores have come from frees, and I mean, all Crossmolina really need to do is control the amount of frees that they give away inside their 45. And it doesn't look like there's too many threats coming from too many areas. And despite the efforts of the Niall Higgins out the field, there's not much happening inside. But that +1 that Crossmolina are deploying there is really making life difficult for Elphin. They're struggling with that. They're struggling to find any sort of ball inside. He's doing a really good job covering off that.
Yellow card for Diarmuid Coggins for that heavy tackle on Luke Monaghan. In fact, both Luke Monaghan and Martin McCaffrey were on the deck there for a couple of moments for Elphin. That will have caused Nigel Dineen even more anxiety, I'm sure. But both back up on their feet, good to go. And the 14 men of Elphin continue to try and break down this Crossmolina defence. Shane Killoran, who's been really well marshalled by Conor Loftus. Loftus not as involved on the front foot as normal, but has certainly kept Killoran on the fringes.
Yeah, he's done a really good job on him today, hasn't he? He hasn't left him out of his sight at all nearly for the whole game, and as a result, Killoran is struggling to sort of make any impacts for Elphin.
Niall Higgins, his best efforts frustrated by Packy Leddy and Jordan Flynn. Well, the free's gone against Flynn again. And who'd be a referee, Jerry?
Definitely not me, Mike. Definitely not me. But again, great tackling from Jordan Flynn. Just leaves his hand in that. Maybe that's second too late to give the easy decision for the ref, where he had turned him back, he had sent him the wrong way, he'd sort of done everything right, and
Fintan Craig takes it quick and short. Oh, lovely dummy bounce. What a score from Fintan Craig. His first from play, Elphin's first from play. Fintan Craig, well, he rolled back the years there. Lovely skill, stylish finish. Elphin are 4 down, but by the sound of things, Jerry, their supporters have not lost the faith.
No, but I mean, look at the scoreline now. We're back to 4, and look, again, a goal for Elphin now would sort of change the complexity of this game, and playing with the elements, as we keep saying, probably from the start, it would definitely give the advantage back to Elphin. So, we've a good bit to go here yet.
4 between them. Elphin on the ball. Fintan Craig bearing down on goal. Tripped by Cathal Carolan. Free in. Well, the tide, you feel, all of a sudden maybe starting to turn.
This is that momentum bit I was talking about earlier, is that how often have we seen the team with 14 men where the momentum shifts in their favour, and all of a sudden Crossmolina just don't have a plan to deal with it, because I felt they've just stepped off actually since the guy got the black card. They've stepped off and probably stopped attacking the game, and as a result of that, Elphin have started chasing the game, and now there's only going to be a goal in it after this.
So Fintan Craig looking for his 5th point of this Connacht intermediate final. Sneaks it over.
I nearly cursed him.
It wasn't the cleanest strike. It wasn't the most emphatic of finishes, but they all count, and there's just a kick of the ball between them as we swing into the last 9 minutes here at King and Moffat, Dr. Hyde Park. Brian Benson and Nigel Dineen making changes, I think. Crossmolina are sending in Stephen Duffy, and they've taken out Lorcan Loftus. So Stephen Duffy, another very experienced campaigner, is in for Crossmolina, I think, to try and help batten down the hatches again. They have conceded 3 points, make that 4 points on the spin. In fact, Crossmolina haven't scored since Niall Coggins' goal back in the 32nd minute. So Elphin, after stitching 4 points in a row together, are right back in this Connacht final. That's some tackle by Stephen Duffy. Got a hand in just at the perfect moment to dispossess Enda Killoran. Crossmolina trying to get their second win now. Conor Loftus invites in Fenton Craig, draws the foul, wins the free. Christopher Ryan's arm is in the air, he's playing advantage, and Crossmolina are going to try and make the most of it. But it's hard to believe, Jerry, they haven't scored for 20 minutes since Niall Coggins' goal.
Yep, yeah, and Elphin have sort of pushed up from that point on, and even on the kick-outs that we've seen in the last 5-10 minutes, Crossmolina are struggling to get out, and Elphin are pressing up high up the field, still with only 14 men, remember.
Well, Christopher Ryan is speaking with Stephen Duffy, so this move is going to be called back. He wants a word with the Crossmolina substitute. But now really it is a question of can Crossmolina hold their nerve. Yellow for Duffy. Well, Elphin were 7 points down when Niall Coggins' shot hit the back of Aaron Brady's net 20 minutes ago. But they're right back in this match now. Nigel Deneen is sending in a sub. Cathal Brady is on, number 20. So fresh legs into the Elphin team for this big push. They have possession. Finished like a train here in the Roscommon County final. Hit that 1-5 I mentioned earlier without reply. So they have previous, as it were. They're well conditioned and they will go the distance. Elphin hold the ball. Man looking to get on it there was Niall Higgins. Shane Killoran instead ignored him. Gives it to his brother Enda, who runs down the barrel of the gun, but it was the wrong decision. Cathal Carolyn wins it back for Crossmolina, and they're out of defence through Diarmuid Coggins. That's Fenton Craig who's given away the free, and for descent, ball brought forward. That was a really good chance for Elphin to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, and the ref probably hasn't been given those ones today, and I'd say the Crossmolina guy played for it a little bit, but he's got it now and a chance to settle it down a little bit and try and set up the play here again. Like, they do need a shot or two just to sort of get themselves back into the game, and going into the home straight, trying to get that momentum back. There's just over 7 minutes left, and
just to remind you, by the way, Elphin are back up to 15 players as Evan Gunn gets on the ball. That was a loose delivery, and it's equally loose from Elphin to give the ball away. Well, that has to be so frustrating for everyone in an Elphin jersey or colours here at Dr. Hyde Park, as Niall Higgins gets his hands dirty to win it back again. We're going to get a frantic finish here by the looks of things. Molahan taken out in full flight by Stephen Duffy, who's on a yellow card, and if Christopher Ryan sees that challenge a certain way, well, Stephen Duffy could be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. And more of those double turnovers where they've had possession and it's double, they've turned it over and turned it over again, and now they're back in a position now to tap this over the bar, and all of a sudden this will put a different complexion on things.
So it's a free in to Elphin for that very rash tackle by Stephen Duffy, and all eyes turn to Aaron Brady. He's one of only 2 Elphin scorers in this match. Kicked a long range free way back at the start of this second half. This one is closer, right in front of the goal, and the smart money would be on Aaron Brady nailing this and leaving us with a 2-point game with 4 minutes to go. But it's not over until it's over. Here he comes. Lovely striker of a ball, but he has drilled it high and wide. big miss at a big moment in this game.
Oh, I would have. Aaron had struck his free in the first half, and it was narrowly wide, and he struck a lovely, point here at the start of the second half. And to be fair to him, now I would have put my money on him, sort of kicking that one over. But again, big press on here again on Crossmolina. So
Crossmolina now 25 minutes almost since they last scored in the game, and yet they lead by 3 heading down the home straight. That was a big let off, that missed free a moment ago. Jeremy Coggins tackled hard and fair by Luke Monaghan. Elphin have won the free. Well, the standard of tackling, by and large, Jerry, from both teams, from your point of view, from a coach's perspective, it's been really good.
Yeah, I've been just very impressed with both sides today. And look, I think if Elphin's tactics, when we were talking about it the second half, Elphin had to come out and start chasing this game. And since they've started to push it up on Crossmolina, Elphin have Crossmolina have hit a wall of Elphin players just inside their own half, and they're struggling to get out past there. They've turned the ball over repeatedly, and it's playing into Elphin's hands. And I would say all the momentum here is with Elphin.
John Finnerty has lost the defender and he's missed the target. Well, Elphin are in danger here of kicking this away. They've missed 2 gilt-edged chances in a row, 2 chances that would have brought them to within striking distance of Crossmolina. And again, the approach work was first class, but a poor finish.
Yeah, poor finish, and they need all of these that they can get now. And again, they're winning the kick out. Crossmolina are really struggling on that kick out the second half.
Crossmolina now just can't get their hands on the ball. Remember, Dara Siren has gone off. Fintan Craig, another delicious dummy, but he's missed with the spinner off the outside of the left. These wides could come back to haunt Elphin.
They could, with just over 2 minutes or under 2 minutes left in normal time. They probably needed to get them 2, and they'll get those 2 points back where there's only a point in it. So they probably need a goal now of some sort to sort of get them back into the game.
Again, the press on the short kick out forces JP Mulhern long. There's a Crossmolina man down injured. That is going to mean the play will be stopped here. It's Packy Leddy who had come out from the full forward line to try and win the kick out, and he's been injured in that collision. So a stoppage with 70 seconds of normal time to play. Elphin, had they taken those 3 really good chances, would be level, but ifs and buts and maybes. And right now it is Crossmolina who, you'd have to say, Jerry, are hanging on to a 3-point lead.
Yeah, I can't remember the last shot they got off. Liam Milady was sort of, they put a lot of pressure on the Elphin, backs coming out, and but it's been a long time since they've nearly got into their own half of any note, and never mind getting a shot off. So it's been all Elphin so far, and I suppose the last into injury time now was going to be a case of Crossmolina trying to manage it out, and not do anything silly, not leave anything open at the back. And I'm sure they're probably going to just drop everyone back now and just manage this as best they can.
Couple of subs on for both teams. So we're going to have 5 minutes of added time as we hit the hour mark here. 60 minutes gone in the AIB Intermediate Club football final, and that will be music to Elphin's ears, Jerry.
Yeah, it's certainly a generous amount of injury time, but there has been probably 1 or 2 stoppages. But I think Elphin just have to now figure out what they're going to do in the last 5 minutes. Are they going to, they've been putting a huge amount of pressure on, but just not getting those sort of vital scores or tap overs that they needed. So, how are they going to peg it back now?
Well, Nigel Deneen has sent in Rossna, Brennan Kelly. Brian Benson has dispatched Mikey Loftus, the Crossmolina captain, as both managers now try to make the changes that could tilt the balance in their team's favour. Crossmolina, they have led this game since the 4th minute. Can they stay in front? It's been all Elphin in the last half an hour or so. They have set up camp inside the Crossmolina half, but just have not been able to put enough scores on the board. Now there's a Crossmolina man gone down after that last passage of play. Christopher Ryan is allowing the play to continue. Now there's an Elphin man on the floor. Fionnán Duffy trying to take possession of him. And Crossmolina have a free with Aaron Brady a long way out of his goal. And for descent, the ball is going to be brought forward. Now, right now, Elphin don't have anyone in the goal mouth as Cathal Carolyn gives the ball back to Fionnán Duffy. He's brought down, free in. And this feels like a turning point, a watershed moment. They haven't scored for a half an hour, and now they have this chance to maybe kick the insurance score as injury time begins to reach, or additional time begins to reach the 3rd minute.
Yeah, and quick thinking from Crossmolina there with that free, because there was no one back for Elphin at all. They'd all pushed up. Aaron Brady was sort of pushed up as well, so Crossmolina had moved that ball in there, and I think everyone could see that he was nearly going to try and play for that free and just obviously kill the game. Now put it to 4, tap this over, and that should be like 2 scores to sort of bring this back, and probably game over. So this is a huge kick in the grand scheme of things to close the game out.
Yellow card for Fenton Craig. Conor Caden is on for Crossmolina. They've taken out Diarmuid Welch. Brian Benson and his management team now just looking to make the changes that could help them to see this out, see them home. It's been an absorbing second half. Crossmolina just 1 score in the last 33 minutes. That was Niall Coggins' goal. Here's Fionnán Duffy with an opportunity that he has taken with both hands. Crossmolina go 4 up, 2 minutes to play. Booming kick out by Aaron Brady over the head of Niall Higgins and out over the line on the far side. Crossmolina have got possession. Kevin Mulhern surging up the field again to Cathal Carolyn. Jordan Flynn goes in and has fouled the Elphin man. Elphin will have a free here. Christopher Ryan wants a word with Jordan Flynn. It was Luke Monaghan who was caught there.
Just another one of those turnovers that Crossmolina probably could have done without. It probably would have been wise just to get possession, slow it down, keep the ball away from Elphin, take it out of traffic, and just sort of close this game out. And there's another turnover now with a long ball in.
Well, this game ending in a welter of excitement. Surely Elphin need a goal at this stage. There's a push in the back, a free in, and I think the call, we can nearly hear it from here, is to line the goal. Elphin goes short and they've butchered it. That's a sliding tackle, and that's a free, and it was Conor Lenihan who just went in with the studs up, and he's just been yellow carded for the 2nd time. 2 yellows make a red. Conor Lenihan sent off. Elphin will finish this game with 14 men, and as has been the story of their day, Jerry, they've put themselves in a really good position, and just a rush of blood, they've butchered it, and now a red card.
Like there was still kind of a minute and a half there. Tap that one over, press the kick out hard the next time, and go for the goal then for the final thing to kind of get the play. And now they've done neither.
Well, Stephen Duffy, who's on a yellow, is just being noted by Christopher Ryan for that challenge. He has to be skating on thin ice now as Elphin go route 1. There's a push. Oh, that's a penalty surely, and it is. A push in the back of Nessun Lenihan inside the large parallelogram, and Christopher Ryan in no doubt. I think it was Big Packy Leddy who gave him a dunt. Lenihan went down. JP Mulhern, I think, is suggesting there was some simulation, but it's a penalty to Elphin. We're in the 6th minute of added time, and John Finnerty has a chance to set up a grandstand finish, because if this goes in, well, then it's all down to how much time Christopher Ryan will play. JP Mulhern against John Finnerty. Now we're going to get the grandstand finish. That's some penalty from John Finnerty, with the pressure on and the chips down, sent the keeper the wrong way. Have Elphin ran out of time?
And if they tapped that last free over, well, God knows where it would have gone, but we would have been level now.
Oh, there goes the full-time whistle. It is heartbreak for Elphin. They have been pipped at the post, and Crossmolina are Connacht Intermediate Club champions for the very first time. Well, what a dramatic conclusion to a captivating Connacht final. Crossmolina 5 points up at half time, 7 points up early in the second half, and then Elphin's fight back began in some style. They began to reel Crossmolina back in and very nearly caught them, but Crossmolina come good. They hold their nerve, but Jerry McGowan, they put themselves and their supporters through the ringer.
Oh man, that was it was the proverbial game of two halves, wasn't it, Mike? I mean, Crossmolina best team in the first half, 6-1 up going in at half time, and then that goal at the start is so important now when you think back. A mistake by Elphin at the back there, a bad turnover, and they got the goal, and then sort of I would say it was probably majority of it was Elphin from there on in. And look, those small little mistakes, those small turnovers, those small tap overs that we talked about throughout the game, where just at the end when it was so tight, they sort of come back to haunt maybe Elphin a little bit, and there's probably not much to separate the teams in the end.
Well, great celebrations out there on the field. They have had some great days, of course, over the years. Crossmolina, All-Ireland Club champions in 2001. That was, without a doubt, their finest hour. They have gone through some hard times in the meantime. But Jerry, just to put this into perspective for people watching, to come back and win a Connacht Intermediate Club title for the very first time, it's a breakthrough win. It's like the old days all over again.
Well, look, it's a very good Crossmolina team when you look at it, and I mean, we'd commented a few times throughout the game, their forward unit sort of worked immensely hard. They were very, they knew exactly what they were trying to do. Jordan Flynn had sort of put in a huge shift, and he was borderline on a couple of tackles there that he'd given away that sort of had kept Elphin in the game with those sort of handy tap over frees. But by and large, I think Crossmolina probably looked the better team, but not by much, based on the second half performance by Elphin.
Well, Elphin will take a while to come to terms with this defeat. And when they look back on it, Jerry, is there any particular moment that just springs to mind, or was it just a general concentration thing? They did seem to make quite a few errors when they'd done the hard part, when they'd won the ball back, when they'd put themselves in a good position. More often than not, or time after time, they seem to just make the wrong decision.
Yeah, and you kind of reference back the goal. I mean, the obvious one that obviously was the game changer. I mean, they had just done all the hard work. They had turned over, Crossmolina, and then they'd sort of given up that sort of silly little sort of, turnover, and inside, the man gets inside and he. To be fair, what a brilliant finish, like an opportunistic, it was a brilliant finish and probably deserving of winning a match, but ultimately it was probably those little costly mistakes throughout the game, and maybe up front, maybe those handy tap overs where they could have maybe taken it on or been a little bit more patient, and that probably would have stood to them. And maybe again, when it goes down to a 1 point game, and these I suppose intra-provincial at this time of year are always very tight, and there's very low scoring, and they always go down to the very fine margins, and today was no different.
Just to go back to the goal, maybe talk us through it. I suppose it'll give the Crossmolina lads a laugh when they watch the game back tonight. We had given Liam Connor the credit. He was wearing 28, Niall Coggins, when he reappeared for the second half, but I suppose in hindsight there was no mistaking the style of the finish. Yeah. He did it after 20 seconds, maybe 12 possibly from memory in the county final. He did it in very similar fashion against St. Michael's last weekend, and that was some way to take a goal in a Connacht final.
Oh look, it was a brilliant finish, and as I said, he was very opportunistic. He kind of didn't expect it. The ball was nearly going the other way, and he'd sort of taken it in his stride and turned and sort of one-on-one, and look at Aaron Brady is some goalie, so I mean to put a finish on him, of that quality, you probably needed to be that quality for it to go in.
Crossmolina would like to do the presentation to the Deeper Club now, so if the captain might be office could make his way towards the presentation area, please.
Well, this is going to be a lovely moment, obviously, for Crossmolina, and in particular for the Loftus family, because the Crossmolina captain, Mikey Loftus, is a grandson of the late Dr. Mickey Loftus, former president of the GAA, and a Crossmolina and a Mayo man through and through. And Mikey Loftus, who got to lift the Sweeney Cup after the Mayo County final a few weeks ago and made a brilliant speech, an eloquent and articulate speech, is getting ready to do likewise. And I know, Jerry, as a Sligo man, Dr. Mickey Loftus's impact on the GAA won't be lost on you either, and it just goes to show the ties that bind a club at a time like this, where here we have his grandson about to come up and lift the Connacht Intermediate Cup for the first time.
Yeah, what a moment for the family, and it's a lovely moment for them. And look, obviously Crossmolina are on a pathway back to previous successes, and this is the stepping stone for them along the way. And look, Mike, I mean they're not finished yet. They have a bit to go, and they go into the All-Ireland series now, and based on what you're seeing today, okay, they'll take a lot from today, and they'll have a lot of learnings about sort of how to piece together maybe two halves, in a way, but still I thought looked very, very drilled and stuff. And you would have to say that they're in with a good chance of going a bit further. And I mean, wouldn't it be nice to go up the steps at the end of this year for them to and take the big prize.
Jerry, I must get your selection for man of the match off you before we run out of time, or before I forget to ask you for it. But you mentioned about the All-Ireland series there. Certainly, looking at the odds this morning, you have Crossmolina second favourites to win the All-Ireland, behind Austin Stacks of Kerry this morning. So certainly they are fancied, and they are in the shake-up, and certainly will take beating. I know Naomh Marnogue of Dublin and Cara of Kildare are the last two teams left standing in Leinster. No doubt the Ulster champions will take beating, but Crossmolina are into the final four. Jerry, who's your man of the match?
Oh, it's a tough one today, because I think there was lots of great performances across both teams today. And look, I mean, notable performances from Niall Higgins. I think he played a really good game. He put in a big shift, on both sides. And Fintan Craig did most of the scoring between him and Aaron Brady on the other side. So probably notable there. I thought Matthew Gorjeski had a very good game at cornerback. I thought he broke the lines well and did some really good work. But breaking it down, Jordan Flynn was everywhere today, wasn't he? He kind of did a lot of work breaking ball. He was picking up sort of Shane Killeorn there, kept him sort of at bay, and but by and large probably goes down to the man that scored a goal. Niall Goggins was probably the best player overall for Crossmolina. I'd probably give him man of the match today.
Yeah, hard to disagree with Jerry's selection. Niall Goggins, what a season he's had. As we hand over now to Vincent Neary of the Connacht Council, who's about to make the presentation.
Thanks to our referee, Chris Ryan, and all of our officials for the job well done. To our sponsors at RB, and to the Dr. Haycare Committee for the great shape
after a testing week weather-wise. Congratulations to Crossmolina. County and now Connacht champions, so well done. And on behalf of Connacht Council, we'd like to wish you well as you continue this journey in the All-Ireland series. To Elphin, commiserations. You left everything out on the field, and well done. You're county champions and will be competing at senior level next year, and that can't be taken from me. So well done, Elphin. The cup that is about to be presented is in memory of the late Jean Byrne, a great Elphin man. So we remember him as I now present this cup to the winning captain, Mikey Loftus.
Firstly, I want to thank the referee, Christopher Ryan, and his team of officials for contributing to a great game. The groundsmen for having the pitch in such great condition for this time of year. The Connacht Council for organising the competition, and a particular thanks to John Prenti and the team in Beacon. We've been training up there for the last few months, and the pitches are unbelievable. So thank you, John. To Elphin, hard luck today. We knew coming up here was going to be a massive battle against you, and you proved it there in the second half. You're an unbelievable team, and congratulations on getting back to senior. Round of applause, please. Thank you to our own club officials, who again have been working very hard in the background the last few weeks. We've been so lucky with the food we've been getting. Eileen Rowland deserves a massive shout out, so thank you, Eileen. Something I didn't acknowledge tonight in the county final was the coaches over the last 15-20 years in Bourne and Oak. They deserve a huge amount of credit for the team that's come out here today. This is also for you today, so well done. Benny and the management team deserve a huge amount of credit. They had to rein us in from the celebrations, but they got us physically and mentally right for last week and again today. They deserve a huge amount of credit. I didn't mention it the last day, but a particular shout out to John Mahan. He broke his hip, he came in on a wheelchair, and he's still coming on crutches. So fair play, John. And now, we want to thank the people of Crossmolina again. The last night, it was our first county title for a lot of us coming into town. Walking in there was something we'll never forget. To see everyone around the shrine, it was something we'll remember for the rest of our days. So thank you. I'd also like to thank everyone who has supported the GoFundMe page. The financial support has been unbelievable. I'd also like to say a word about the goal. You were a bit early. And also, I'd like to say a happy birthday to Dylan Flynn. To the 37 players on the panel, we enjoyed our celebrations the last few weeks, but in fairness, you continue to make the sacrifices. You took time off work, came down from college midweek. In fairness, you kept it going. But I have to say, the lads on the pitch worked unbelievably hard today, and that's all we asked for you, and fair play to you. It wasn't easy today, so fair play, lads. Some people outside the group said once we won the county title, we were in bonus territory. But when we met up on the Wednesday night, we all disagreed. We knew this was a massive opportunity, and we would regret it if we didn't take it. We will celebrate this Connacht Championship tonight, maybe tomorrow. But mark my words, we will do everything in our power to win an All-Ireland semi-final and get to Croke Park. On the Deel Rovers!
So there you have it from the Crossmolina captain, Mikey Loftus, who receives the Jean Byrne Cup and becomes the first Crossmolina captain to do so. The Deel Rovers are AIB Connacht Intermediate Club champions. They've beaten Elphin here at King and Moffat, Dr. Hyde Park. That's it from our coverage on Connacht GATV. My thanks to James Conlon and Rory O'Brien on production. My thanks to Jerry McGowan for his co-commentary and analysis. Until next time, from all of us on Connacht GATV, enjoy the rest of your weekend.